Hi, this part of the program is all about lifestyle changes, the lifestyle habits that you might need to eliminate and the lifestyle habits you might need to take on so that you can have more balanced lifestyle, a more balanced body, and hence a better performing pelvic floor. Now today is all about toileting habits or bathroom habits. And it seems a little bit weird to sit and watch a video on bathroom habits. But honestly, I tell you, the comments from the participants around this section of the program are amazing. Each week that I meet with people, I know it's different on video, but the example is, every time I meet with the ladies, I'm like, okay, what was the difference between last week and today? Now that we're together again, what improved? What's frustrating? What are you struggling with? And there was one comment once I thought was precious, so I'm going to share it with you. One lady said, you know what, Jackie? This week was the first week that was a 7-panty week. And I'm like, 7 panties? Okay, that's cool. She goes, no, you don't get it. I usually have 35 plus panties per week because I wet myself so bad. Wow, success. And she says, just the savings in laundry was worth it. What a success story. And that was based on some of the suggestions I'm going to give you. And hopefully you'll have a 7-panty week if that's something you're struggling with. Okay, so the main thing that you need to learn is that when you're going to pee, you're going to do your best to relax and take your time. You're not going to push, and you're going to be patient. Now, when you sit on the toilet, I want you to take a nice big breath and start to pee. Relax. Remember that your diaphragm, your breathing diaphragm and your pelvic diaphragm, there's an excursion. So that means they expand and move down when you inhale. And that's the perfect timing, just a nice time to be able to relax and let go. Now, if you're somebody that's going, I don't think so, I'm dealing with urgency, there is no way I even make it anywhere near the toilet without being stressed. I barely get my pants down and I'm gushing. I'm talking especially to you. Absolutely. You are going to retrain yourself so that you can be in charge. You are in charge of when you pee. You've just gotten into a habit. You've had a behavior modification along the way that made it that you now deal with urgency. So we need to undo what you did. I don't know how you got there, and most of the time we don't know how we get there, but you're there. Let's get back. So the first thing is, whenever you can, it might not be each time, but whenever you can, you sit, you take a lovely breath, and you relax to pee. Now, when you relax to pee, there's going to be a flow, and it might stop, and you might go, it still feels like I've got urine in there. Well, there might be. So what you're going to do is shift. Find an angle, lean. Oh, all of a sudden, you might flow. And then you end up, at the end of your flow, it stops naturally, and you're like, oh, I still feel like, you know what? I just want to push it out. It'll get out. Don't do that. Shift to another angle and find another angle that will allow you to flow gently. Do not push. Let it flow. Now, what I'm not asking you to do is to stop and start your flow. That's totally different. And some people will suggest, hey, to, engage your sphincter muscles to be able to control your urine, check it out while you pee, stop and start. Well, that's not a good thing to do. You can check it once to see, hey, can I actually stop my pee and see if I've got that control? Do it once, but never again. You need to have a nice flow. not one that you actively stop, because when you actively stop, you just even see it in the action, you're pulling things back up. You pull bacteria back up the urethra. You do not want to do that. You want it to flow. You don't want to end up creating a great formula for infections. So do not stop and start. But if you do stop, lean, it might start again. Back to urgency, because I can just feel the stress if you're urgent, you're thinking there's no relaxing, there's no pausing and starting up again. If you're somebody that deals with every time you open up your front door, you barely make it to the toilet, you need to train. You need to change that. Figure out what led you to that. It could be like, used to be for me, I'd be in the grocery store and or in the mall. For some reason, it was like, okay, I know I just went to pee, but now I gotta pee again and I can't concentrate because it's bothering me. Well, I had to retrain to be able to convince myself that, you know what, our body doesn't have to pee that often, and that it can be a good 2 hours before you pee. So you're going to need to retrain your body. Now, again, back to your opening up your front door. Guaranteed, if you would change your habit of, instead of opening the door and rushing to the bathroom, if you had a really important thing to do that would deviate you from that path, you would totally forget that you had to pee. An example would be, let's go for the real extreme. You open the door and your house is on fire. And you know you've got to go and save your little puppy or, oh, Lord help me, your child. Something urgent like that. There's no way you're going to remember you need to pee. It'll stop. You will not be panicking about that. Let's make it even, kind of cute. Get yourself your favorite ice cream on a day that's like 30, 40 degrees out. And when you get in the house, if you don't put it in the freezer before you go to the bathroom, it'll be totally melted and you'll miss out on your favorite ice cream. So just deviate, go to the fridge, and then go to the bathroom. Just slight change, bit by bit by bit. I know you're thinking there's no way. Try it. It will make a difference, okay? So know that you can go for 2 hours without peeing. You can do it. All right, if you are somebody that dribbles, you've peed, you get up, and all of a sudden, whoa, yuck, what's going down my leg? That's urine. So if you have that problem, here's a strategy you can try. So do the quiet breath, easygoing pee, double void, which means, or triple void, which means, once you stop, lean, pee again. Do all that, and then wipe, of course, and then stand up. Here, while you're standing, you're going to make yourself do a little bit of a contraction of the urethra, that sphincter, that contraction where, oh, I'm going to stop urine flow. You're not peeing, but you're doing that little contraction. And then you're going to sit back down, you're going to take your breath, you're going to exhale and see if you can pee again. There might be a little bit left. Do it once or twice, wipe, take off, you should be okay. Again, it's training, it's habit, it's taking your time. All right. Next point, let's get away from the just in case pee. Oh, I'm a queen. I was a queen. I'm not doing these things anymore. I'm going to pee just in case, especially, those that have a job or a lifestyle where, you know what, you're going to be busy for a while and, well, I better pee just in case because there's no toilet. For me, the example is every time I'd have to be in front of a group, either I perform on stage or I have a class to teach. So there's performance anxiety. I need to, do my best for my clients. Well, I'm going to pee just in case. So I don't have to think, be bothered by the sensation of urine accumulating in my bladder. And I would pee and you know what? I wouldn't just pee once. 5 minutes later, I'd do let's do that final just in case pee before I have to go. These are the worst things to do because you know what? Those little encased peas were probably little dribbles and a couple of dabbles, and that was it. It made me mentally feel I'm in charge, I'm okay. But messing up my system, messing up, you know, my central nervous system, understanding when's the right time to pee. Now, when is the right time to pee? Well, not the first time that you get a signal that there's pee in your bladder. The first signal that you get is when you've got about 150 milliliters of urine in your bladder, which is not a whole lot. And that's your first signal. And then from there, you can be a good hour and a half before your bladder fills. So what I'd like you to do is when you get that first signal, ignore it. Or what you can do, as I had to do, is, okay, I got that first signal, I'm gonna put a timer on, and I am not gonna pee for another hour, hour and a half. I started with an hour and built up to, I can go a couple of hours for sure. Now, one of the ladies that had this really great way to explain this signal at 150 milliliters, your first signal, she goes, oh, isn't it just like fake news? I loved it. Is that fake news? Yeah, you don't have to jump all over it. You hear it. It's not really the true thing. You don't have to go and pee. It's fake news. So think of it next time you get that first, I think I'm going to pee. Oh, I wonder if it's fake news. I'm going to give myself, an hour and a half and then I'll go and pee. Try it. Okay, let's move on. The other one would be, again, probably done in public washrooms, is the hovering to pee. Again, I was good at it because I did not want to sit on public toilets. It's either gross most of the time, somebody else has peed all over them, or you know what I mean. They're not the greatest. Hovering like that, you think, oh, I'm a squatting queen. No, it's a hover. It's not a full squat. Squat's a lot lower. What you want to do is sit your butt down and relax. The hovering messes up your system, messes up the signals of what am I supposed to be doing? Am I supposed to be contracted or relaxed? Do your best to sit. So do like me, bring your little towelettes and clean up and sit, okay? Now another habit that I guarantee you might have it, or at least somebody that's watching this video, because I've said it in class and people are like, oh yeah, I do that, whoops, is don't multitask when you pee. I mean, reading a book, that's nothing, but the multitasking of, when you start to pee, oh, I'm in a hurry, grab more toilet paper or a Kleenex and blow your nose. I bet you do it. I used to do it. But you remember that I said that we don't want to increase intra-abdominal pressure, and definitely we do not want to bear down when we pee. So when you're blowing your nose, guess what you're doing? You're bearing down. So pee and then blow your nose, or blow your nose and then pee, not at the same time, all right? Another habit, and you might think, what? Why would I even mention this? I'm going to mention it because it was mentioned by a great author. She's a gynecologist. She's an amazing, amazing person who's done a lot for women's health. In one of her books, she said something that I like, oh dear, don't do that. Okay. I'm going to ask you not to pee in the shower. Right? Who would think of that? Especially in a public shower, in the pools, you wouldn't do that, right? But in the privacy of your own home, it could be that you've peed before, on purpose or by accident. Now, the reason I'm saying it is because you might have read a really, really great book, and I'm going to show you. Dr. Christian Northrup, she is a gynecologist. She is phenomenal. She has written some amazing books. I'm going to show you a couple more that they're phenomenal. If you haven't read them, you should read them. So this one is Women's Bodies, Women's Wisdom. It's a brick. And if you notice, I've got a lot of, things highlighted. Really, really informative. Like seriously, she's done a lot of great for women. And then there's women's wisdom of menopause. So really great book as well. Now this one, absolutely great read. I loved it. You can see I've got even more tabs on that. Adored it. One of the sections though, she quotes one of my favorite movement specialists, Katie Bowman. I love the way she thinks about the health of our pelvic floor. She's very similar as whole body. I've even stolen some of her quotes for in this program, and I usually say that they're from her. Katie says that it's really important to squat and squat properly, and that we need to do it more, and that our whole society has shifted to a very comfortable high toilet where, we're not squatting. Societies that squat to do their thing don't have pelvic floor issues, so we need to get back into squatting. Okay, so Dr. Northrup said that, Katie Bowman had mentioned this, or she's quoting Katie Bowman, but then Dr. Northrup said, hey ladies, why don't we squat while we're in the shower so that we can pee while we're in the shower? And I just went, ugh, no, don't do that. Okay, the thinking behind it, you'll understand. You're in a shower, it feels so nice, it's so warm, it's so comfortable. So whatever you do in the shower is going to feel good, right? So you get down and you squat and you pee. Felt good, huh? So the next time you get in the shower, you're like, oh, I'm gonna squat and pee, and the pee comes out fairly easily. And then the next time you go in the shower, all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's so warm. Oh, I need to pee, I better get down and squat. Next time after that, you know where I'm going? There's a Pavlovian response. Every time you get into warm water, so either a shower or a hot tub or a bath or a pool, anything water, you're gonna all of a sudden have that urgency, that need to pee. It's like that trigger, oh, I should be peeing. And then it gets to a point where you hear a shower, oh, how come I need to pee? You hear water running, you think of water, and you need to pee. So I'm kind of exaggerating along the way, but do you see what I mean? It could go real sideways real quick. So definitely squat, but do not pee in the shower, okay? Don't do that. Okay, off to the other stuff that comes out of us. Number 2, we're gonna get into the whole idea of eliminating. There's a beautiful video that I have of holistic nutritionist Kathy Smart. She's Holistic Nutritionist of the Year 2016. Phenomenal at what she does. And she's going to speak to how to not be constipated. Now, it's super important not to be constipated. First of all, it's miserable when you're constipated. You feel backed up. You end up getting headaches. You end up getting all kinds of aches. But I'll tell you, it affects your pelvic floor as well, of course. And then, of course, if you're constipated, pushing those little pellets out is not easy. And did you hear pushing? It's not a good thing. So in the same way as you're not going to push when you pee, you are definitely not going to push or bear down to be able to eliminate. So you want to make sure that you are not constipated. Watch her video on all the details about that, but definitely do not strain to poo. And one of the best ways to align yourself to be able to eliminate properly, I started to talk about it, some cultures, they don't have toilets, they squat. It's butt to the ground almost, and you poo. Now, having your knees higher than your hips is going to help. You remember the muscle that I talked about that restrains the rectum, the puborectalis? Well, when you stand, it grips it. When you sit, it starts to slack off, but when you bring your knees up towards your chest, definitely releases so that you can eliminate with ease. Now there's a really cool little gadget you can get at most stores. It's called the Squatty Potty. It's just a little platform that you have by your toilet that you can push against your toilet when you don't need it and pull it out when you do need it. You put your feet on it, your knees, they'll be above your hips. Now there's a little part of the Squatty Potty promotional video that I'm going to add to this, and you can look at the whole video if you want, but it definitely shows the angle that you want. Whether you buy the Squatty Potty or use little boxes that you create or old yoga blocks, as long as your knees are high and you're leaning forwards, you'll see the angle on that video. Super important to do. Here are a couple of segments from that Squatty Potty video that I was talking about. Enjoy it, and I'll catch you at the tail end of the video. So there's a lot to think of. There's a lot to, wrap around your brain for toilet habits. But honestly, you will see a difference if you start to implement these things and trust that maybe your habits are what are causing your problems. Let's get you back into balance and being able to be in charge of your pelvic floor, right? Don't let it control you. All right, until the next video, have a great day.